First up, I have for you a bullying prevention guidance lesson. Now, the reason I like to teach bullying prevention in October is because it's Bullying Prevention Month. And it's also convenient that it's toward the beginning of the school year, so you can really teach students these bullying prevention practices that they can then implement all year long. So this is a SEL class lesson. It's completely editable and digital, and I have it available for you in both Google Slides, which is what I'm showing you now, but it's also in PowerPoint. So you can choose to use it and edit it in whichever one you want. So I'll walk you through each slide here. First, we have a little definition of what is bullying. Now remember, you want these class lessons to be really interactive, so don't just read the slides. Ask the kids, what do you think bullying is? And see what their answers are and see if their answers match up with some of the things listed here. So you want to talk about the different types of bullying. And then you can go on. I like to show this graphic because it really differentiates between bullying behavior versus someone being mean versus an accident. Now, the reason I think this is important is because as bullying prevention has been on the rise over the past few years, and students are more aware of identifying bullying behavior, a lot of times somebody's just being mean and they're being called a bully. So we do not want people to falsely accuse others of being bullies. So while being mean is definitely not okay, and we're not condoning that either, we just want the kiddos to be able to differentiate between the two, so that way if they do report bullying behavior, that they're very clear on what it is. So some things to differentiate here are the number of times that it's occurring. So if it's only one time, that's not really bullying, it's just being mean. But bullying is if it's happening over and over, if there's a power struggle, if you ask them to stop and they continue to do it. And then, of course, an accident is something unintentionally hurtful. So it's really good to go through the differences with kids here, and then you could have them come up with examples and categorize them, kind of make a little game out of it. Now, the next thing I like to do after we identify what is bullying is who is involved. So talk to them about the different terminology here. So we want to be sure to use the word target instead of victim. That's some, terminology matters, and I think that differentiation is important to make. So you want to identify the bully, the target, the bystander. Now, what I do like to chat with kids about is that these are just names to identify, but we don't want to label someone as something that's going to stick with them. So maybe we, have all been guilty of bullying behavior at some point. So you want to make sure that kids know, you want to speak to that bully in the class and say, just because, you've done bullying behavior, you've been a bully before, it doesn't mean that's who you are. So I always like to bring that up too, because if a kiddo thinks that they're, a bully, then they're going to act like a bully. So we want to let them know that there is room to move around, and maybe we've all been in that situation. But then I like to talk about, after a bystander, I like to talk about an upstander. So there's a great video here. It's from the Ned Show. It's a really cute animated clip that talks about what an upstander is. So it's when a bystander is just watching bullying happen, an upstander sticking up for it and defending the target. And then it talks about 4 upstanding options. So that's a great video to watch and discuss. I like to follow it up with a think, pair, share. So have the kiddos get in partners and talk about their own experiences. So if they've ever been bullied, or if they've ever been a bully or a bystander, and then have them reflect on the video on how they can be an upstander. So give them a few minutes to chat with each other, and then you can come back as a whole group and discuss. And then lastly, I like to segue into tattling versus reporting. So we want to clarify, like, you definitely want to report bullying, but you want to make sure you're not reporting tattling. So you want to talk about the difference between reporting and tattling. Some people call it tattling versus telling, but I like to call it reporting. So easy differentiation for the little guys to make is tattling's getting someone into trouble, reporting's getting someone out of trouble. And then you'll want to go through some examples. So this is where, you could say some examples like, Mark's not reading the book, he's looking at his phone. Well, that would just be tattling, right? Mark's not hurting you or hurting himself, no one's getting hurt. But if it's Mark's punching a kid at the playground, that if someone's being hurt, we need to tell an adult. And then you can take them through this grid here. So tattling is if you're trying to get someone into trouble, you can solve it by yourself and no one's in danger. Where reporting is if you're trying to keep someone safe, you need an adult's help to solve the problem, and someone's in trouble or danger. So that wraps it up for the tattling versus reporting portion of the bullying prevention lesson. So I hope you guys find this helpful. Like I said, I really like doing this lesson around October because it's Bullying Prevention Month, and you can, it's editable. So if you find some other clips you want to show, if you want to differentiate for grade level, you can change the language, you can add some images, personalize it to make it fit your school's needs. Okay, I hope you